What's going on, everybody? This is Rosa, the Burbank Misfits. And of course, I'm always joined with my wonderful, wonderful co host, CW.
I made it another week.
Hey, mate, you were on time too. Wow.
Hey, you know,
I mean,
I'm here.
to be fair, our last few podcasts was our naked one, and the other two we did in person. So
Yeah.
you couldn't avoid
Yeah, I was
being
there.
but no, today we have a very wonderful, wonderful, wonderful guest. Um, from what I hear, she's been doing a lot of stuff in her 4 years of being in the industry. She is she's been doing movies for a while. And her name is hopefully I say this right because I should have asked you this before we started. Is it pronounced Sedona?
Sedona.
Sedona Rain. I should actually before we started. I'm like, I'm just gonna read it and just say, okay, I'm just gonna wing it. And if I say it wrong, she's gonna be like, oh my god, he
Well,
couldn't even.
oh, it's like, whenever, like, with me, sometimes, like, words don't come out of my mouth right at times. And it's so, especially when it comes to certain names, like, I'm like, did I say that right? And it always makes me laugh because I was driving with my husband in the car. I said, oh, look over there. There's a helicopter. He goes, oh, is it going over the hill? So I'm always saying something wrong. So I know I will say something wrong. And it's like I'm a dingy blonde whenever I talk, but I really am intelligent.
I mean, words are hard,
They are.
especially in
They
this
can be.
English language. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many words that are spelled the same that mean completely different things, and
Yes.
it's frustrating. So I get it. I just want to make sure I was saying your name correctly because you are the star right now. As and you said before you started, like this is your first podcast, and you like, am I popular? You are popular. You are the S. I don't curse, but you are the SHIT right now.
Yes.
Own that. So for
Yes.
so for everybody out there who don't know who you are, who are you?
Well, I am Sedona Rain, and I am a porn star. Um, it's been an exciting ride. I um first started with Score, and I was really like kind of scared for my first, because all these misconceptions that you get with the porn industry, that it's seedy or whatever. And it was the most professional environment that I was in. It was wonderful. I had such a blast. And I was like, I can do this. I enjoy this. It's just something in me. I I remember one time I did a shoot with Arnie Freytag, and he brought out the camera and he was like, "You are a video girl." And I was like, "I am."
Well, it just make you shine on the camera. Like the camera loves your presence. It's like, oh my, the camera makes love to you, like, as they say. It makes love to you in a way. So it's like, oh my dang.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's like I think as a person, I think, I'm hard on myself. And so when I get to set, it's just like people's eyes light up and I see that and I'm like, they're like, you're amazing. I'm like, no, 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 you're amazing. So we're all hitting back and forth and stuff. But thank you. I love that compliment. Thank you.
I mean, like from what I understand, it's like, when you're on set, if you just have that good, and I'm gonna say bubbly, but I don't know if that's the right word to use, but you just have a good, bubbly personality, it's like everybody becomes drawn to you more. And like it works the same way with the camera, and it comes off like in the scenes, whatever. So it's like, oh, she enjoys being there, and she like, I won't say love, but she likes her coworkers enough that it feels like it's some sort of a chemistry going on.
Yeah, a genuine, just a euphoric state. There's many times whenever I'm filming, it's just like I am in the moment. I mean, I just flew back from Vegas, and Tony Rebus was filming, and he knew that I was there. And he's like, I'm not shutting this camera off or anything. And he kept on filming it. And then whenever that moment had passed and he turned the, he went to cut. And he was like, girl, I'm not stopping this camera. He goes, I knew that you were there. I'm like, yes, I
Mhm.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
was there. I was there. I was like, I was on a different planet at that moment. It was just like, phew, all the
yeah, I mean, like, 'cause everybody has their trigger moment. So it's like as
mm-hmm.
soon as they say action, they're no longer, of this world. They're like they're in it. They're in it. So it's
Yeah.
like so that's what it sounds like you are. And like how like you said we started 4 years ago. So just imagine you started early, you would have been like in that little zone mode the entire time. They've been like, oh my God, we got we we got we got to let it rain over us all the time. So what
Yep.
what made you want to join this fine industry of ours?
Um, it's always been something that I had in the back of my mind that I wanted to do. I mean, I've been dancing for like 15 years,
Okay.
and I would see a lot of feature dancers come and go. And something, I mean, if I'm saying it right, Aja Kura was one of the feature dancers,
Let's see.
and she had yeah, she had the security guards and everything. It was hard to get to her. And I was fortunate enough to ask them, can I speak to her for a little bit? They let me in into the room where she was. And I sat down and talked to her, and she was just the sweetest person. And I was like, wow. I'm like, I need to do this. And she goes, yeah, you do, and so you know, and on top of it too, it's like my husband my husband has a fetish where he loves to watch me fuck other men. And so um it just kind of
Um,
grew from there.
oh, that's just what's that
Well, this
word
is the
here?
red industry.
You say
Is
what?
it is it not, is it cuckolding? Um
That and oh my God, what is the
Yeah,
what's
it's
the word I'm looking for here though? I'm looking for a different word. Um, voyeurism.
it is a kind of
yeah,
voyeurism because
voyeurism. Yeah.
like some of the cuckolding is about having the other man tell him you're not good enough, kind of thing, and he's not into the humiliation. He just is in, he loves just to watch me fuck. As he says, it is voyeurism, because he says
Okay, yeah.
it's like he is watching it. Yeah, it just standing back, instead of, it's a difference of not being in the action but watching it from a distance. And it just is his excitement. So I was like, well, I've always wanted to do this, and here you got that, and like, well, let's put it together and let's go.
I mean, you get a few different things at once.
Mm-hmm.
One, you get paid to have that like have your husband watch.
Mm-hmm.
Two, like it's recorded and it's done in a safe
Mm-hmm.
manner that everybody is tested and clean, and you don't gotta worry about anything weird with anybody. Then
Mm-hmm.
you get to go home and it is saved up, and you become more and more popular, which in sense gets you more scenes, which in sense get more videos out, which in sense give him more time to watch you, and goes on and on and on and on. And the thing is,
Everybody's wins. Everybody
it,
wins.
it
everybody.
it is a total win-win situation. So it works really, really good. Because sometimes if you're married to somebody that's not in the industry, it can be the opposite, where they get really, really jealous and they don't want you to do this. No, he's the one that's like, do this, make sure, he watches my videos and he goes, do this again, I really like that, so it's wonderful. It's a partnership, that we have, and it works.
One big thing that I've noticed with anybody who I know who dates I'm gonna say civilian, who dates a civilian,
Mhm.
Basically is just that communication.
It is
Yeah.
true. Communication, and there has to be a form of trust.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, I totally trust him. He is the same way for him. And I mean, it's like I said, that's his fetish. And when I first started in the industry, he had, a little bit like uh, anxiety, dealing with it. And now it's through the communication and talking through it that it's just been a wonderful partnership, and including him. There's times where like I'll be, having a lingo when we talk on set, and he's like left behind, like, I don't understand what you're saying. And so it's just bringing him into that world, that makes him feel um like he's a part of it,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like I believe the hardest thing is just people gotta know that, I am
Mhm.
trusting you to, just tell me, hey, I am doing this thing with blah blah blah. Or hey, I am doing a trade with blah blah blah. I
Mhm.
am not cheating on you. I
Mhm.
am not just going out and just having sex with some random human being. I am doing something professional. And some people can't even accept that, which is, weird upon to them because if and the difference between you whatever is like you joined after you were married, of course. But
Yeah.
for those who like start dating of somebody who
Yeah.
does porn, whatever, and they get in a relationship with them and they don't understand what comes with it, you know.
Yeah.
I
And I
know what I'm
mean,
getting into.
you say what's it? I'm sorry.
I said I know what I'm getting into.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people say that they know what they're getting into until they actually jump into it.
That's true.
Yeah, it it is a development over time. It's not something, oh, I can handle that.
Can you?
Can you?
Can you?
Can you?
I'm thinking of that meme. Like,
Exactly.
yeah. I
I
mean, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I think it takes a very confident, strong man in order to,
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause I
I
know
mean,
I know from when I first started doing stuff in the industry, like
hmm
my mindset back when I was young, because this is why,
hmm
like I also said, I think it's also a maturity thing. My
yeah,
mindset back when I was younger, like when I first started being around this world,
mhm,
I probably couldn't have like do have a stable relationship if I knew the performer was doing boy BG. I was going to say
yeah,
boy girl,
yeah.
whatever, because it is just in my brain. It'd be like, hey,
hmm
you always do girl, because it's like not just because I like to watch girl mainly, but it's just like I know that like in my feeble little brain of mine, whatever, it's kind of like, yeah, you aren't going to work and getting something bigger than me and then coming home and pretending you enjoy what I have, because there's some people
Well, damn! Wow. I'm just a little worm.
it's like it's like it's like it's like it's
But
like you
you,
it's
you
like
know,
it's like it's like you go get something big as my arm, and then you come back to me and it's big as my hand.
Bro, I
It's
don't think
like
it's like it's.
you know that
I don't
is
think
that
that
is so
like
true.
that.
But I always tell, I'm like, it's a prop dick. You got to get the camera in there. I'm like, but it's like my husband is like, he is always like, I wish I was bigger, and I'm like, honey, you're fine. It is not about size; it's how you use your tool. I'm like, and you're very good at it.
It's the
yeah.
motion in the ocean and the skill of the skipper.
Well, I mean, like it's always like a suggestive thing that people always say. Well, I want someone to be this big or this big, or I want this amount of girth, and it's like it ends up they want something like this wide and like you can see my video, but like this long, like like 12 inches long, and the size of my wrist wide, and it's like. Like that's an Arizona with
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. Somebody, I'm like, my face was like, I'm like, oh my. And there's like times where I'm like, I can't get on with him.
you guys hear a prayer for you going say like, okay,
I'm
okay.
like,
When I leave here, please let the electricity of what's supposed to happen down there go back to where it's supposed to go. Because
exactly.
I need you electricity.
I know. I sit there. I'm like, please don't stretch me out. So I'm like doing the kegels on the plane on the way. I'm like, get back. I'm like, oh my god! It's like some sets you're like childbirth.
See,
Shit. Oh God.
Oh man.
oh my god, I'm sorry. But get it out now. But
Oh man.
but yeah, and that's always just that that thing in the
Mhm.
back back of the head, and it's just like so I understand that it is just like I can't measure up to that guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's like I keep on telling my husband, I'm like, because for a while there, I had an obsession with just going huge. And he's like, I don't like that. And I'm like, well, you can kind of compare those two things. It's like, I don't want a monster dick. I like the way that you are. I mean, I'm completely satisfied,
Well,
you know?
that's always what some people will say. It's kind of like married dick and porn dick. It's like, like you can go ahead and get, that porn dick really quick and then make a quick money, whatever. But you're satisfied with that married dick, uh,
Yes.
because like it's a good medium to large size. That's not, that's not going to kill you, but
No, it's not.
it still feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. I can be completely relaxed knowing that my cervix isn't going to be bruised up. And I'm like,
Yeah,
sometimes
so
on set, I'm like, ooh, oh man, it's like, so yeah. I mean, there's something about being relaxed because it's just, feels good.
yeah, because it just feels better. And something
Hmm.
you can do multiple times a day,
Hmm.
and still be able
Yeah,
to
still be able to walk.
still be able to get up and make you a ham and cheese sandwich instead of having to
Exactly.
lay there all day like I can't function. Um, you see the movie White Chicks, right? Be like you end up in a wheelchair. Like no,
Well, I hear stories. I have yet to see work with dread, but I hear stories. I'm like, oh, I might end up in a wheelchair for a week.
see, yeah, I'm like I don't know if people can work with dread like constantly back to back to back to back every day. That's a big dick, and
Yeah, it's like,
I can't follow that.
mm,
I'm
hmm.
sorry. Like, yes, that's not one to follow. It's like, hey, anyway,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's just the mentality with some relationship is just that, you know, just that subconsciousness. So,
Yeah,
so it's good.
yeah.
It's good that he supports you and at least has that cuckolding or voyeurism fetish because
Hmm.
it just shows that like he just enjoys you being happy and it makes you it gives you a I can tell by it like the way you just get triggered when like the camera's on. Ready to go.
The
You know?
camera's on. I know. I go in my own little world when the camera's on. It's like magic. Yep.
So since you are newer to the industry, what is your your vision of what you want to happen in the future?
So, I mean, there's lots of different ways. I mean, I'm still trying to learn about things that I want to do, Um, I'm still trying to brand myself and grow. That's first.
Hmm.
Um, I'd like to be able to eventually come out with my own toy line. And then, just different businesses. There's certain things that I'm kind of stewing in my head of what I'd like to do. I mean, I'm just always trying to figure out what my next step is, and sometimes I don't stress out, but think way out in the future. I just take it one step at a time. Um, but currently, right now, is just growing.
Okay.
That's what I'm focused on, and then doing a lot of working with a lot of top quality mainstream directors to
Yeah,
just
because
kind
you came
yeah.
in you came in like during the bumpy road, because you
Ugh,
came in like in 19, and then like you get started going, and then COVID was like, no, 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 no. And then
I
everything was shut
that's
down for a while. So
that's why I was like, I'm not traveling during COVID. That was one heck of a ride that we went through, and I'm like, I didn't want to deal with it, with everything. And then on top of it, just the even whenever I did start up, they were still doing the COVID testing and the throat swabs. And there were times where they got in there with that throat swab, and you go into set and you're like totally hoarse, you know. But they were, doing the testing like I think every 2 days or however it was. It's just something I just didn't want to deal with at that time. So I joined, I think I officially came back May of 2022. So
oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. I just took that long. I got my feet wet, knew what I wanted to do, was looking for an agent at that time, and then
You're with Next, right? Or,
I was with Next. I am with East Coast Talents.
okay,
Mhm.
ECT. Okay. It didn't have like I was researching it yesterday, and it didn't say in on there, and that was the last thing that it said. So I'm sorry. East Coast Talents.
Yeah,
They're
that's where I
nominated
was.
for an award. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like working with John. He's really good. He gets to know you, and then the quality of stuff he's been able to get me has been really awesome to do. It just takes a time of growing yourself, because it's like I still am relatively new. And so, I mean, every set that I've gone to has been just a wonderful experience. And so it's just meeting people and growing. And that's what I've
Yeah,
been doing.
that's
So,
always the good part is like because when you meet more and more people, there's more chances for everybody to like just say, hey, this is the person to go to and stuff like that, and it just builds your whole niche up of
yeah,
what people can expect from you,
yeah.
and no matter what.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
and it's just nice to make those connections, because it's just there's some wonderful directors out there, and it's just I'm slowly getting there.
so do you have any talent, boy or girl, no matter what, like your top five of people you want to work with that you haven't had the opportunity to yet?
Um, there would be Danny D. Um, I think that would be fun to do some work with him. Um, and then Jack Slayer is one. I think he would be great to work with. Um, I mean, I did only one BBC scene, and I'd like to do more. And
Okay.
I have a lot of fans that want me to do more. And so that's one thing I want to push towards and do that. I don't know why I'm blanking on.
I put you on the spot. It's
I
like
know,
you
no.
put me on the spot now, and all these names are coming to my brain just left.
No, I have those moments, those senior moments it feels but I'm trying to think. I know his handle is Bread Piper, and I think Rob
Oh,
Piper is
Rob
one.
Piper. Yeah.
Yeah. Um gosh, it's like it's there. There's a lot of people. Kieran Lee. Um and I don't think Johnny Castle shoots anymore. So, I'm not sure if he does. So, and then there's I Manuel.
I am for
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here. There's been so many that I save up. But yeah, there.
You know,
Uh,
it's okay to have a hit list.
yeah. I worked with I worked with Will Pounder. He was wonderful. I mean, I would love to work with him again. That was wonderful. I did a double, not a double anal, but two guys, and it was an anal scene for Brazzers, and that was a lot of fun. So I definitely would work with him again.
It's a double anal. It just sounds painful.
Yeah,
But
it wasn't a double anal. Like, but it was two guys. It wasn't even a DP, but it was just an anal scene for Brazzers. And it was a lot of fun. I love that scene. Um
yeah,
that was a good scene.
Will's good people, really good people. Every time I
I love
interact with him,
Yeah, I love his expressions, and
his energy. Yeah.
yeah, his energy is really, really good. And I remember coming to that set because it was my first anal on camera.
Okay.
And I was nervous, and when I saw Will, he was like a little puppy dog. Nothing to be nervous about. We're gonna have a good time. And so and some of his expressions would just made me crack up. And so I just put me in that moment, and was able to get there because of just his personality was wonderful.
I'm sorry. The way you just said, like the way you said that, since I've known him for a while, I can just picture him saying like just his hand moving and everything. Like we're gonna have some good fun. Like it's like intensity. So
Yeah, exactly. It's funny, he had to do this thing to where, because I was doing fisting, but they took the camera and they put it's like a fake vagina, and he had to open it up and put his look in through it, and
Mhm.
the camera was on the other end capturing it, and I was just sitting there laughing at him because he's like, doing that. He's those whole Brazzers faces, and I'm
Oh,
just
like, wow.
laughing. And he's like looking at me like, stop laughing at me. I'm trying not to laugh here. But that was a great scene.
I mean, like for what I hear, it's like everybody's first anal scene on camera. Like, even if they do it every day for the entire year, like at home, that first one on camera just feels like it's just different because I think like even though they prepped and all that stuff like that, they're still subconscious about
Yeah.
that in general. Like, oh, like I know I loosened up. I did all the stuff. I had a plug in there since yesterday, and then it's just like, okay, something's about to go in my butt. And it's bigger than when it's bigger than you. Okay, 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 okay. And then that
you,
that
you know
anxiety.
yeah, I had total anxiety for that scene because originally it was supposed to be with Daysky. So it was Mick Blue
Oh,
and Daysky. And so I looked at Daysky and went, oh my God, that thing's going in my butt. So I was like, okay. And so I started asking certain girls, how do you prepare? So I went and got, the plugs, that you put in. I was like, this isn't big enough. This isn't gonna do anything. Like they're gonna sing glory hallelujah. But so I I started looking at different things, and I got this huge, I started really stretching myself. So I didn't have to worry about that. I was totally prepared. I was actually a little bit more over prepared. Though it was the hard, like the whole nerves
yeah,
and
because
anal.
Daisky's one of those arm people that I was talking about earlier.
No.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. I'm just like, this is first time on camera, anal scene, and I got Daysky on there. I was like, who did this to me? I said, somebody really thinks that I'm good.
I mean, they wanted to give you like two arms, be like, hey, here you go. Here's an arm for you. This is going in your butt.
Yeah,
Be
it,
prepared.
it 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 did not. I mean, it was Daysky, and it did not get changed to Will Pounder till when I was on the flight, um, coming to Burbank, and I was
Okay.
like, I looked and I'm like, And then of course my head goes, Will Pounder? And I'm like,
Okay.
oh. I sat there and I'm like, oh, I feel like, not saying, but it was like, oh, I can do this.
Get my my butt can live another day.
My butt can live another day. At first I was like, I don't know until I get there. Just total anxiety.
It's like, okay, I can do this with no problem. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, it was like I got a replica of Jack Slayer's cock, and I was practicing with that. It's funny because I tagged him and I'm like, hey, look, I'm practicing with your cock in my butt. He sends me a like. I'm like, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, like that's all. Like from what I hear, that's always the roughest is just that first anal one. And I don't know how your first scene was on camera. Like, was it the same like anxiety just because it was your first scene?
No, it wasn't my first time doing
No, no,
anal.
no, 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 no. I meant your first scene. Like, was it that same type of anxiety when you did your first
Yes,
scene?
my first scene on camera doing anal was that scene. Yeah. And so, you
I
have
think
your,
you're missing what I'm saying, but no, I was saying, did you
yeah.
have that? Did you have like the same type of anxiety when you did your first scene? Your first scene in general, like were you nervous like
Oh,
the same way?
well, yeah, I would say so. I was probably um equal anxious between those two scenes.
Okay,
My very first scene, I was really anxious because I didn't know what I was going to
going into
doing. Well, I shouldn't say I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't know what the industry was like.
yeah,
You can go and you can read a whole bunch of people talking about the industry, and they talk about different things that happened to them, and I was like, oh my god, I don't want anything to happen to me. But when I was there, as soon as I arrived and I got there, I was like, this is not anything of what I've read. It's just absolutely professional. I mean, they treated me like a princess, and it was just a professional set. And so I was like relieved because I did another, I think, four more scenes for score. So
okay.
it was just initially when I got there having that anxiety before. And then once I got there, I was like, oh, this is wonderful. I can do this. And but when it came to the anal scene, I was really nervous because it was Daysky on there. That was like Daisy, Daysky, Daysky. That's all I could think of. So, oh my, oh my. you know, can I just have an anal scene and just do it on camera and then I could do Daysky later? you know, all this stuff is going through my head. I'm just like, how am I gonna keep up with all this stuff going on? So, but yeah, I was those two scenes were probably the most anxiety I've had.
Okay. I mean, you got this now. That's why you are one of the stars of Sweet Sitter. I don't know if that's out
Yeah,
or not. Is that out yet? Or
that is out. And it is wonderful. I loved being on that set. I just it was a great to I like working with Rachel. I got to work with her a second time.
Richard
And
Cavalli? Okay.
yeah, Rachel Cavalli, which I enjoyed everybody that was on there, meeting everybody. And it just was a connection that we all made, and it was a wonderful time. Mike is a really good director.
Well,
Um,
I hear a lot of good things about Mike Quasar, about
mhm.
the way he does his his visions per se.
Mhm. He is really good at getting stuff on camera. There's many times like I sit there and look and I'm like, I love it when I have those moments to where I look at my work because sometimes I'm like this, I'm like, what are you doing? Because I'm a little nervous. But I look at it, I'm like, is that me? When I say that, I'm like, yes, that's a good scene. That's a good director.
See, and that's one thing I noticed about some directors compared to some other ones. It's like they can capture
Mhm.
I won't say a model, but they can capture people like perfectly. And it's like, oh my dang, like I did that, and they like, okay,
Ex-
okay.
exactly. When you have that moment to where you go, is that me? And like he just he just knows how to angle, capture, lighting, everything is just you could tell he's good. He's good at what he does. And it's just amazing to work with him, and then that whole scene and everything. And he also gives me like little pointers, because I mean, it's not the newer thing. I mean, the acting part of it, I'm still I have a little bit of jittery nerves when it comes to learning lines and stuff.
Hmm.
And it just helps me work through it. You could do this, you could do that, just his suggestions on things just helps me be a better person. And I feel like right now I'm just like a sponge. I just soak up all I can and just do better and better and better, each and every time.
Yeah.
So
And I think, it gets, as far as learning lines, it gets easier the more and more you do it. I
yeah.
mean, just because like I've known people who just who just hate learning lines at this point, because even though I've seen some of their stuff and their acting is okay, and it's
Mhm.
like, oh my God, I gotta say what? And I gotta make this believable. I don't even like. I gotta say I want your, and like sometimes they gotta say penis instead of the word dick, and it's like I don't tell anybody I want their penis. Like that doesn't even flow right off my mouth.
I know it's got to be something natural, which is what I like. If you have a director that goes, if this feels better coming off your mouth, just out of your mouth, say that instead.
Yeah,
And yeah, it just you aren't the sharpest tool in the shed, as I think I said, but what he originally said was something else, and I'm just like, I'm not familiar with that saying. Instead, I said the other word.
yeah.
It's good to have that flexibility. I mean, there was one scene that I flew out to Vegas and I didn't even have the script and I just arrived there and thankfully it was only a page and a half of dialogue, but I had just read through it once and I he was like, this is how I film. I filmed from the beginning to the end, no cuts. And then it had to be exact word by word verbatim.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
like, I started sweating buckets. So I'm like, oh. I kept on screwing up because it's like the more pressure you put on someone, the more that they're like,
Especially when you say there'll be no cuts, it makes it a lot harder,
yeah.
and especially if you didn't give them the script beforehand. Like,
I was like,
it's easy, like
yeah,
it gets easier to do that if like, oh, okay, you give me the script the day before. I can sit
yeah,
back and say, okay, my name, like I'm saying this in this scene, and it gives you a day to to learn it really quick.
yeah,
But when you
yeah.
give it to someone like 15 minutes before, it's like you are
No,
giving me a page and a half, and this is a paragraph.
it is, and I just was like, I just had come off a plane, rushed to get there, and then signed, you get all the paperwork,
Yeah.
model, bunny ears, all that kind of stuff, and then I'm like, I just read over it once. Are we ready to film? I'm like, I'm like, and it was just like every time that I would try to think was like, I don't know what I'm doing. It was like started sweating, and I was just like, ugh. I mean, I know in time I could probably do something like that
Yeah.
quicker, but I'm like, could you give me a script while I was on the airplane?
Yeah, you got, but like via what you're telling me and everything you're telling me, you got this like no problem. Like I can just see you just going through it like, hey, this is child's play. Four pages verbatim in 15 minutes, child's play.
Exactly. I'm like, if you're gonna give me 4 pages and I gotta do it word by word verbatim, make sure you get me that script at least 24 hours before you film. I'm like, and I can give you that, but I'm like, don't do it like boom. uh,
But you also have like I don't like because I don't know when these come out. You also got a thing called sex therapy coming out. I don't know.
sex, sex therapy is out. That
Okay.
is by Penthouse Gold,
Yeah.
and that is a great scene with Apollo. Apollo is great to work with. I like him.
I haven't met Apollo before. but
Mm,
I've seen his name because we're currently nominated for an Urban X Awards. So I
that's
remember going through the nominees, and I've seen his name, but I haven't had the opportunity to meet him yet.
okay.
And so yeah, but from what I hear, this is scene coming out, and you're basically a sex therapist. So you're like,
Yes, I am a sex therapist, and I'm dealing with a patient that has chronic masturbation issues, and he likes to masturbate out in public, just everywhere he goes. He can't help but masturbate all the time, and so that's how it all starts off, and then the scene starts. That was a lot of fun.
a lot of people may need that. Just get horny for no reason. They're, they just, in the line at Wendy's, like, oh my God. Yeah. But I'm right. There's some people out there who are really just like, oh my God. Yeah. But I use Wendy, then I just realized I shouldn't have used Wendy. So it was just the most first fast food restaurant that popped in my brain. So don't come at me.
Wendy's. Actually, I love Wendy's. I love their spicy chicken sandwich. That's my go-to.
You always just get the same $6 biggie bag because I don't
That's
feel like thinking what to buy.
hmm
So
yeah.
like outside of the industry, without saying like not saying anything too crazy. What do you do for fun? Like what is the fun side of you?
I am an adventure seeker. I mean, I I have this silly thing where I'm trying to motivate my husband to go. This is gonna sound crazy, but I'm trying to get him to go camping. I like to, he doesn't really like to go on hikes and stuff. I like to get out in nature.
You said camping. I thought you like camping sounds crazy. I thought you were gonna say, yeah, I'm trying to get him to jump out of a plane. I'm trying to get him to I'm trying to get him to what is it is when you tie the rope to your legs and you just jump off. Uh
Well, it's like okay, the crazy part of it is, and I'm trying to motivate him because I'd like to actually go camping and do like Bigfoot searching, which is like
okay, then yeah.
that's the crazy part of it. I'm like, I want to go. I'm like, I had an experience that happened.
I have a question. And what if you do find Bigfoot?
Well, I had the weirdest experience happen to me that my mom and I were hiking up in Oregon. And whatever it was, could have been a person because I didn't turn around. But whatever it was about that tall and breathed on me and made the weirdest sound I've ever heard. And I'm like, oh, first thing that came to my head was, it's a bear. So I started clapping my hands, making noise, and then just walking. So I'm not going to run. But my legs were like jello as I was, walking. I'm like, oh. And then I finally turned around and nothing was there. And it was just a weird experience to me to where I've I don't know if that was a bear. I never turned around. So I'm always like curious. I'm like, you watch all these shows. I'm like, I want to have mine. They're always so disappointing because they're always running around like, we see him. We were there like running and then he gets away. But I don't know. It's one of those experiences that I'm like, can I have that experience again? Or am
So
I
you'll go out there and look for Bigfoot, and then he'll walk past you like, hey, I remember you.
I know, right? You go,
Hey,
hey, I remember you. I
you
breathe
came
on
back to see me,
Hey,
huh?
look for the rabbit. You have
but
any?
on but on the serious side, other other than Bigfoot, is I have a hobby that I've done since I was 12 years old, and I first started off with saltwater fish tanks, and now I have a 400-gallon reef tank, and
Oh, wow.
that is just my dream tank. I love it. I'm like, that is one thing I could go bigger on.
So, like, what type of fish do you have in there, or do you have a?
I have a whole bunch of different kinds of tangs in there. I have a Sohal Naso tang. yellow tang, and I have a whole bunch, like I have a harem of clownfish. So like
Okay.
and then with the clownfish, I have probably about 25 clownfish in there. And they
Okay.
all group together. And then I probably have like 15 anemones in there, and they all hang out in the anemones, and I have different corals in there, which is a lot of fun. And it's an expensive hobby, but it relaxes me. Um
I was literally just telling CW the other day, like, I went to Vice's Nice last year,
mhm.
and I kept, throwing my tickets in to try to win a fish tank, and I lost. But it was gonna be the reason that I would end up getting fish instead of, actually going to the store and saying, "Here is my money, give me a tank." Which would have been a lot cheaper thinking about it now in hindsight. But it was kind of like I can help charity at the same time, and that would
Mhm.
be the only way I can get fish. But
Mhm.
like I didn't win it, so I never I never got it. But I love fish. I do. I just I
I
think they're one of the. I'm not saying they're easier to take care of,
mhm.
but you don't have to walk a fish. You
No,
know.
there's no dog hair, which trust me, I know about dog hair because we have Saint Bernards. But
Oh,
yeah, they're so it's just so easy, and not only that, it's just relaxing just to sit down and watch them. And it's like a slice of the tropics in my home, which is like therapy to me, especially working on my tank. It just if I'm ever stressed out or I haven't heard from my agent, I don't know what's going on. I'm in my fish tank. I'm
mhm.
like therapy for me, fixing stuff around in there. So yeah, that I'm like that has been a big hobby for me that I really enjoy. And everybody comes over and sees it, goes, "Oh my God, that's wonderful." And I'm like, "Yay."
I feel like that. Those are your
Right?
those are your babies.
Those are my babies. They are my babies. I know each and every one of them, and it's like I know what needs what, to eat and different things, and I always make sure all of them are taken care of. Like, let's see here. I think my oldest fish, I mean, I took a break, like I started back up about God, how long have I been here? 10 years ago. And so the oldest fish that I have in there is from that old tank that I broke down, which
Oh
is 10
wow,
years. Yeah, so like you just have these fish that they can I don't know how long, like
they
they can
live. Yeah,
yeah, they live for a while. And then they get big. Some of them do, and I'm just like, "Oh my God, I had this really big Flamingi tank, and he's pretty much 18 inches long, and he's beautiful, but he's always splashing me and getting me wet." Every time I'm in there, he's splashing the water on me. So
oh, that's his way of playing. Like, hey, mom.
I know exactly. I can put my hand in there, and I pet some of them. They'll come up to my hand, which is really
Oh,
fun. I don't know. It's a hobby I love. It's something that
something
soothes
gives you
me.
joy. Yeah,
Yeah, it does.
like it just it's just everybody needs that moment of zen, and
Mhm.
that's your zen.
It is.
Your fishies.
It is my zen. I totally enjoy it. Yep. And then, I mean, other things like I enjoy, of course, for this industry, I enjoy working out. So I try to keep that on a regular. That's another that also,
That's
suits.
he's a fitness trainer by trade. CW. That's
Wow.
yeah. So that's what he does. He's at the gym right now. He's not on
Okay.
camera, but he's at the gym right now. So
See, see, and this is usually in like around like 1 o'clock is usually whenever I do my and I've switched up things over the years because I used to just do too much cardio. And now I do the high intensity interval training, and then I use my own body weight. I use weights. I've done a lot of things differently, which has really improved, my look. So, um, that's another one of the things I do.
I mean, it's good. I mean, like it's good, especially working out. That's what he does every day, and I know he enjoys it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a
I can't.
definitely, it's
Yeah,
definitely a great stress reliever.
it is a stress reliever. There, I guess there's always that point to where you're like, oh, I got to work out today. And then somewhere in between your workout, you're like, I'm glad I did this. But,
Mhm.
it's the motivation to get started. And it's just become just a part of my day. My routine is that I got to do, something for that day. It makes me feel better about myself. Because,
I know for me, it's like it takes me a second to actually get started to do it. Like when
Mhm.
if I get started, I don't have no issue in doing it. But it's kind of like, I gotta get off my lazy behind and actually, yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
I
know
need,
it's so much easier just to sit on the couch, and all that, and
yeah,
yeah.
cause by trade, I work from a computer. Like when I'm
Hmm.
not editing pictures or doing my other stuff that I do, I'm just sitting right here all day, every day. And it's just like this is my computer and my bed is like right here. And it's kind of like this
Computer
is
to the
three,
bed, computer
yeah,
to the
it's
bed,
like 3 steps away. Like
computer to the bed, eat, sleep, eat, computer,
I
back and
mean,
forth.
at least like I know that like right here are all my vitamins. So I know what vitamins I gotta take every day just to maintain living in life without, getting too heavy. But
Yeah,
yes,
you got
I need to hop to and actually, take care of stuff. So,
That's funny. Yeah, with me, I have a tendency to be anemic, so I always have to be careful. There's been times to where I have to constantly take iron, but some days I'm more dizzier than others. And so when I'm on set, I'll stand up and I'll be like, hold on a moment, and I'll have to stay there, because I sometimes can feel like I'm gonna pass out. So yeah, I know about the supplements. I have to take those just to keep myself going.
I don't know if you can see it. It's my iron pills. So I'm addicted to. So like these are the ones I know I have to take every day, no matter what. So they're literally in front of my computer to say, make sure you take your iron every day. Because there have been a
Yeah,
lot of days that I've just stood up and I feel like I'm about to just collapse. And
yeah,
it just feels like, when you were little, you used to run around and like, just stand still and just turn around in circles multiple times.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it feels like. I'm like, oh my God. So
yeah,
I make sure I take this one no matter what. So it literally sits like right in front of my computer. If it's
yeah.
not in my
Yeah, I have to take my iron every day. I mean, when I found out I was pregnant with with August, my third, um, they did a test on me and they said, you are absolutely low on iron and D3. So I had to go in and do iron IVs before I could even give birth because I was so low.
Mhm.
And it affected me to the point where I couldn't breathe. Like I go up a flight of stairs, I felt out of breath. I would be constantly dizzy when I'd stand up. I had no energy. And so it's just that whole thing of I have to. It's a horrible feeling to be deficient of iron.
Because like me and my mom
Hmm.
and me and my sister and my brother are all anemic. So
Hmm.
I have to take this iron. And that's why I have this one, and just in case I forget to refill this one, I have another brand of iron on this side somewhere just to make sure that
Yeah.
I constantly have it.
The best iron if you want to get into your system is that Floridex, the liquid one. It's expensive, but that's the best iron. That's the one that if I'm feeling really, really bad, I'm like, I'm ordering this and taking it for a couple weeks because there's sometimes I'm just so exhausted.
I don't think I've ever been to the point where because of iron I couldn't function, but there's
Mm.
been times where like I go like I can be laying down, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden the world gets very, very dizzy. So this is what I
Yeah.
take.
Yeah.
You can see it now. But yeah, so but anyway, to get off of health issues, but but yeah, it's like yeah, it's iron. It's like you just need to be took, and
Yeah.
it's a pain sometimes, but you know.
Yeah. Yes. It's just it's a necessity for me. And it's like some people go, well, you need to figure out why you need iron so bad. I'm like, no, I don't. I just need it.
I mean, it could be just something hereditary. It's not like you just woke up one day and you just said, "Oh, I didn't drink enough water in 2018."
I know.
So now because I didn't take that final sip of water in 2018 because of that one little drop, I need iron for the rest of my life. No, it's
I know. It's like it's so funny how people always want to self-diagnose you because I've had people come, maybe you got thyroid issues. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm anemic. I know what I am. I know what I need. I'm like, but how do people like always suggest things to you, and you're like, thank you, thank you.
thank you, but you're wrong.
Yeah, you're
Like
wrong.
you don't have a degree. I'm talking to people who have degrees.
There's a lot of people out there who's like, let me solve it for you. I'm
Like
like,
I don't mind taking my iron pills. Let me and my iron pill have our daily fun. It like we have fun for like probably like a good 1 to 2 minutes, and that's
yes,
all. That's all me and my iron pills need a day. You
yes,
know,
that's all I need. That's all I need. It's like
like
I know
I
what I
I
need.
may need to eat, and that's why the extra minute because I want something in there first, and then that those first two bites, and then I
Yeah.
take it, and then I eat more. So it's just that little 1 to 2 minute, getting something in there, and then throwing it in my mouth, and then going. Let me and irony have fun. Irony.
Exactly.
The irony is saying
Exactly.
irony, but yeah.
What is the thing when you like people give you opinions? Opinions are like
Us appearing. Yeah. What is it saying?
opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one and they all stink.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm like because it's like people are always giving you opinions and like trying to tell you and just like okay, okay.
But we have reached the end because we have been going for a second. But where can everybody find you? Because you like honestly, everybody. She is a joy. Like I really enjoyed having the opportunity to come speak to you today. This is fun.
It was
And
a lot of fun. It
yeah,
was a
like
lot of fun. Like I said, it's like you have like there's like about a podcast, and I'm just like, I'll just be me.
that's the best way to be, because that's why we
Yeah.
always like we got on different tangents, but like we always try to make sure we, bring that human side out. So because like everybody, there's a lot of people out there, your fans who, have their fish collections. They can be like, oh, you collect fish too? Or yeah, you have this fish too? It's like, really? Or is your fan out there like, back in 2009, I was in Yosemite, and I saw a Bigfoot. Like I was camping, and then all of a sudden at like 2 a.m. I had to get up and use the restroom, and I looked away, and then Bigfoot looked at me. He did the Gangnam style and walked away, and,
He's all I know you.
and walked away, and like make a
I,
really.
forever, Sedona will be known as Bigfoot breathed on me.
I should name this. We all of our episodes we call it the something effect. I should actually name this episode the Bigfoot effect. No,
I know either people will be like, that
like
girl's crazy, or they'll be like, I get her.
no, because like everybody has their like because we all have crazy notions of what exists and what doesn't exist. And we
Yeah.
and we like and depending on religious whatever, if people believe that we came from primates, there's nothing to say that a middle term still does not exist. You
That's what I
know,
say. That's what I say. And it's like we haven't discovered everything in the ocean. I mean, when we're still finding new
Mhm.
insects and animals and different things, and it's just you just never know. I mean,
like
I always try I
there's
always try
one
to
thing in
keep
the
an open
ocean.
mind.
There's one thing in the ocean that I've seen, pictures of, but I
Mhm.
really want to see in person. But they live in the darkest part of the ocean. It's
Oh yeah,
the fish that has the light in
the
front of them.
light, the light in front of him, and
Yeah,
the yeah, is he see through or something? It's like he's clear or
yeah,
luminescent.
yeah. And it's
And then
like
the thing that hangs is like red or something. Yeah. Yeah.
and like I know I would never see one in person, but that's some of fish I would want to see in person. Like this is a but I'm not going in no submarines. But
No.
those are some of the ones I would want to see in person. Like, oh, that's that wow. But
Well, it's like still
It's the
even it
anglerfish.
thank you,
what oh
CW.
it is a type of anglerfish, though there is another kind of anglerfish that is at the depths too. But and those are really really interesting. There's like fuzzy anglers, there's ones that come out of the sand. There's a lot of trippy animals when you start to look at the different, like a flying gurnard. If you haven't seen one of those, Google that. It's a fish with wings and has these little legs that walk on the sand beaches and or the sand, and those are fascinating. There's so many different weird looking fish, but yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I'd like to do eventually is to go scuba diving. That's and learn how to get that certified and all of that and do that.
See,
Definitely
yeah,
have that on
like
the list.
I'm like back in the day before I got injured, whatever, I
Hmm.
would have loved to, go in the water like that. Now I can't
Hmm.
like I can't use this right arm like I used to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's never gonna happen. So
Aw, no.
yeah,
Well, you know what's neat though is that they have a lot of channels that bring the ocean to you, and I still watch those shows. I'll look at them. Hey, there's my fish.
but it's also it's always the fact of seeing it in person. Because like you're never gonna see this fish in person because it's so deep in the ocean,
It,
and it's
it
like it's kind of like it's like you want to see it, but it's like uh,
yeah, see it.
even though this fish is in California, it's kind of like, oh, I'm never gonna go down there in the ocean to see it.
To go
So
down in the to first of all to go down in the submarine would give me a little bit of anxiety,
well,
and then on
more
and then
so now.
yeah, exactly.
Rest in peace, five people. But still, more
Yeah.
so now, it's like,
No, I agree with you. And then on top of it too, you got to look at it through glass,
mhm.
So is it's got to be that you can't actually be there, and I don't know how that would be seeing it that way. It's like even having the people that went down to the Titanic. I mean, it would be wonderful to see the Titanic, but I don't think I'd want to sit in a submarine and see it through glass. And there's no way to go down there and see it. Not yet.
Well, yeah, they found that out the hard way.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
did. Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate of that happening. And it's I haven't really kept up on the story and all that, but just hearing that, I was just like, that is so sad.
well, the fact that like um they still had the website up for
Hmm.
more deep seas after
Yeah.
they had passed away for like another few weeks before they finally shut it down. It's kind of
Hmm.
like, so you're still going to just try this again after these individuals passed away. It's a little much, you know.
Yeah, it is a little much. I mean, that's really, really sad. You think that you would take that down and at least reconfigure everything and figure out why, you know? stop.
And
Don't be getting
and
people
the
down there.
fact that the controller for it looked like one of these, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, so you're controlling a submarine with a Xbox controller, and it's like
Yikes.
it just seemed like it was too many faults in it, and no one, and it was never tested before. Like, just said, okay, we're gonna
That's
go
not
down it.
good. Well, I heard from somewhere that there was a warning from somebody that said it's not ready. Like it's don't use the sub. It's not ready. There's something wrong, and they still even used it.
It
And
is
I don't
even
know if that.
it is even worse that one of the people who was on it didn't want to go down, but his
Yeah,
dad convinced him to go down.
yeah, he had a gut feeling that he shouldn't have gone on that sub. And it gives me chills. I have chills right now thinking about the fact of it's emotional to know what that last moment was, you know. Yeah. But anyways.
Hmm. To get off that, but where can everybody find you, support you, buy her content, you know, and everything?
um I have a Twitter at Sedona Rain, and I have an Instagram at the Sedona Rain. And I have an OnlyFans, which is at Sedona Rain also. My OnlyFans is where they can support me. So, and that's where I communicate with my fans. I also put on there just to sign up. If they sign up, I have my videos on there. You know, some accounts where you have to pay per video. And I've made my site so that you just pay a subscription and you're able to get videos and stuff. But if anybody wants personalized content, I also do that. It's just a way to get to know me and support me, and I appreciate that. I mean, I love my fans. That's why I'm here, you know.
Yeah, so everybody out there,
So,
you heard her right. So go out there, find your favorite content. I'm sorry, find her profile, look at her content, and be like, oh, I want more of that. Then Messenger be like, hey, I kind of want a custom.
yeah,
Can you do this for me,
yeah,
please? And she'd be like, yeah, I got you. I got you.
I got you.
And
I got
then
you.
like, a few days later or weeks depending on, you see something too crazy, she got you.
I got you. And if it's difficult to remember everything, I also have a website which is sedonarain.com. And on that kind of links to the different films that I've done. On there also has my Instagram, all my socials, and then also my OnlyFans is on there. Like a connection to it.
And
So
she has a Sex Panther too, y'all.
what?
A Sex Panther? Sex?
Yes, I
Like,
do.
yeah, text.
I do have a Sex Panther, and so that I opened probably about 3 weeks ago. And then for some reason, I'm having a difficult time. I was trying to open up a Playboy account, and so I still am having a difficult time processing that, but I will have that very soon. And
Mhm.
then both of those are under Sedona Rain, at
Yeah.
Sedona Rain.
So just make sure you go out there and support all that she does. Via this interview, you see she has a very, very fun personality, and she's just really great. This is actually our first time speaking. So, and I love these type of interviews when I meet new people because they're so great, and she's awesome. I do want to before I give our sign outs, I do want to say thank you for the rub for setting up this interview. You always come in clutch, and we really, really do appreciate you. CW, where can they find you really quick?
You can find me at CC Fitness LA and on all platforms.
Okay, you can find me at Ross or RAWSEARR on Instagram and on X. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X. You can find me on X.
On
Um,
X.
that's it. It's just X. It's still Twitter, but X. Anyway, you can find us at the Beret Memphis on Instagram, Beret Memphis on Facebook and on Twitter, BeretMemphis.com. This is everything we do from photography, graphics, editing, and a whole bunch of other crap that we do. Um, and by the way, y'all, we will have more stuff coming out soon. So make sure you go out there and support this wonderful, brilliant, beautiful woman who gave us her time. And we will see you all next week. Toodaloo.